Let's talk about that. Hey everybody, it's Let's Talk About That for a minute. Hey everybody, it's me, Mr. Pope, your host for Let's Talk About That for a minute. It's of course the hour-long show where we discuss various broadcasts. Now, if you'll allow me to adjust my mic, actually, I'm not sure if there's much adjusting I can do. This thing has been pissing me off because, I actually have been doing a lot of recording, and now this goddamn fuzz and hiss has been, I don't know if it's from the cable or if it's just this microphone. I've been using it for a couple years. Anyway, a couple things tonight on the show. Once again, tonight's episode is brought to you by Camel cigarettes, whiskey, medical marijuana, and of course, our local network over here at Sun God Records Radio. We've got a great team, a lot of new people come in, and we've just had a lot of great discussions this past few weeks. So one of the things I wanted to talk about was an extension. First of all, thank you guys for listening last night to the show. It just went skyrocketed through the roof when it came to ratings and hits. I'm very surprised that last night's episode went as high as it did. In fact, I had some some fans stop by yesterday in the middle of the night around 4 in the morning, and they said, "Hey, Mr. Pope," and I said, "Oh, you guys like People's Love Call? You guys PLC fans?" And they said no, and I said, "So were you guys Gravy Horse fans? Are you guys local or something?" And they said, "No." And then I said, "Well, what's up?" And they said, "Well, you're the guy with the podcast." And I'm like, yeah. I mean, this is something else that I do. I mean, it's one of the many things creatively I do, engage in. But yeah, so they were talking about this episode, and they wanted me to do the episode today, another one, and they wanted me to discuss the let's just call it the Age of Rage, and I'm not sure if I took that from this documentary I saw, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of hatred from crazy right wing and left wingers, and both options to me are a complete failure of the 21st century, and it shows that we can basically say whatever we want. And I'm very, I am obviously not a fan of Donald Trump. I'm obviously not a fan of the Republicans, the alt-right movement. I'm not a fan either of left-wing activist groups such as, well, I'm just going to say it. Antifa, I think, this is going back to what I think is really the Age of Rage, and I don't want to tell that podcast this because I think that it was. That is, I don't even know if I want to check Netflix, but this documentary scared me, and it was obviously about the political tensions between different groups. And look, I'm on a progressive thing. I used to really identify with the anarchist individualist platform with writers like, William Godwin, I believe, Noam Chomsky, that idea of it. Obviously we're in America, and recently my generation has been more inclined to vote. And I'm very glad that people are at least being more informed nowadays. But there was also another thing I thought about my lack of voting and the issues I've had with, obviously Florida's politics, but America's politics too. The people that we elect, and we end up getting bribed in and bribed out, and it makes no difference. And the only way to make sense of what we have right now is to do something like this. And I don't want to speak too much on one thing tonight. I don't want to speak too much on one area of it. And I invite all of you to, on the comments below, tell me your opinion. I may not respond to it, but if I like you enough, you're more than welcome to come on the show, because we do a lot of phone-in guests. So things are going really well. I actually have Lassie Returns coming out with Marley Records. I have Peace of Mind that I have self-released. In terms of People's Love Call albums, I'm not too sure. That's a little bit. Lineup's been changing a little bit. People are talking to me now from other areas musically. So I think that there may be some options to tour. There may be some options to collaborate with some people, and I'm also in the process of composing some music for Broadway. No, I'm just kidding. I'm composing some music for Cirque du Soleil Broadway. Close enough. That's the closest I've come. And I have a new position as an engineer and representative for a music company. Not Sun God Records. I already have that. I already do that. I actually own that one. So if you guys aren't familiar with Sun God Records, the talentless Mr. Pope, that's where all the music is. That's where my life is. That's where all my recordings are. I have a few physical copies available right now. I have copies of the Last People's Love Cold album. I have copies of Blue Scene. I have copies of what has not been seen and things yet to come. So anyway, back to this topic. I'm a big fan of a lot of different talk shows and podcasts, so I'll just kind of skim through YouTube to hear people's take on different things. And it's no secret that people that I know in my community are really freaked out by this alt-right media, because it's a reminder that, there's a lot of kids who clearly come from very questionable backgrounds, privileged or not, but kind of grew up feeling a certain way, or have recently been drawn to this, turned to this. Like, that Proud Boy shit freaks me the fuck out. A friend of mine was talking about how some Proud Boy came up to him. And this Proud Boy is a friend of a friend. I think I know this person, but you really never know until the truth comes out, because they kind of have already a twisted, desensitized sense of humor, and manage to just, you know what I mean? They're kind of like losers, but they feel like they got the secrets to life, and they know how to pick up girls, and girls are obvious and stuff like that. And most of it has to do with that, and then the racism shit comes later. That just kind of falls in. It's natural. Then you hear that, it's oh yeah, that makes sense. That guy doesn't really seem to care too much about anybody except his own damn self. So a lot of people tell you that this alt-right thing is a joke, and that it's not like they're just doing this to play devil's advocate, be the troll. But then I see that by doing this with Donald Trump, they made Donald Trump love that even more, because you're talking to a guy, or talking of a guy. You're centering this whole thing around, his mission, and he knows what he's doing already. He knows he's fucking with people, like the people that cry at his speeches. He doesn't give a shit, clearly. Now, I don't know if people want to really consider the fact that it's the same thing with these people. I'm not even going to name the names, but just those very staunch, whatever, Republican personalities who just pretty much shit on everybody and make a big joke about it, So, and I'm not going to probably upload this episode for a while, because this is a pretty typical topic. I'm going to be working on a series of episodes for this show, so don't worry, because right now it's 2/26/2019, but I don't know when this episode will necessarily air. I'm very fucking busy. So, some things that interest me are on the other side of the political spectrum, with the liberal hysteria that we have today too. And I'm not talking about people who hate Trump like I do, or that consider themselves Democrats or leftists or on that spectrum. I've been using the word spectrum a lot. It's because I've been hearing a lot of jokes. Yeah, I guess jokes. And this is fucked up too, because you see, here I am trying to look all ideal and shit like that, and I'm thinking about a joke about autistic people, because I've been hearing people use the term on the spectrum a lot, and use it. Oh my god. So on Facebook just now, some girl just put a fundraiser and is looking for support, and I know her, and she's a heavy heroin addict, so I'm not gonna say this girl's name, but don't donate to her. My friend invited me to go and like his page called Five Alive, and they're a boy band. I'm a big fan of the boy band. Oh god, so here we go. So this is a I mean, I was really running out of topics for this thing, this political thing, because it's semi-political. Because I just like to see, if you see the craziness in everything, then fucking you will get fooled a lot less. Because I make my own decisions about it. my own interpretations, and when my mind goes somewhere, because you'll get a point out of all this. When somebody is displaying their opinion, or there's a video and there's interpretation, in your thoughts you probably get something really precise and exact. Yes, that's how I feel, or yes, I understand what they're saying, or maybe that's true, or what they mean is whatever. Here's an example of this. Bernie Sanders does not want you to see this video, and he's talking about different cultures. It's not mentioning what particular society he's talking about, but it's putting in footage. This is another thing that pisses me off, because Bernie Sanders is a career politician, and he's talking about, I don't know if it's China or Russia, I don't understand. And look, this is the whole thing. It's already, this video is recently uncovered video from the 1980s reveals socialist Bernie Sanders' true feelings about America, communists, and more. And this guy wants to be, in all caps, president. Well, he's already ran, first of all, and he's running again. And this just seems like pure Trump hate. Okay, here, we already got a comment on this. Oh yeah, a diplomatic trip that was taken to Russia. And you see, you want this guy to be xenophobic and just hate him. Trump himself doesn't say anything bad about Russia. In fact, he's pretty infatuated with the culture. Look at his goddamn wife. You know. And I know that this podcast is going to be with a lot of you know and ands. I'm kind of stoned. It's pretty early. But you know, and this upsets me, and I'm shitting myself about it, and I'm worried about all the memes that are going to come out from this, and when me doing this episode. And then the next thing I see on the Facebook stream, show's a lot easier to do, by the way, with a Facebook stream, is Bernie Sanders raises 10 million in less than a week. When people say the word socialism, it automatically alarms them. It automatically implies you're going to lose something, or you gotta pay for this equally. And a common thing my great American father, who's of course just toe to toe, cheek to cheek, Republican, conservative, Christian, everything you can think of, Fox News every day kind of guy. And then there are the CNN liberal people every day too. I gotta stop getting distracted. So a common thing I would hear about communism or socialism, that argument is, so that's not fair. I mean, why should I be working my ass off and the bum sleeping next to me, the fucking Homer Simpson, isn't doing his job and he gets paid the same rate? And that's really, really funny. Because that also reminds me of something Orson Welles said when they talked to him about communism, and he clearly was not in any way communist, but he had a radio show. And he got some people sent in during this McCarthy era. And it's a little similar to this now, except it's all on the internet. It's all open. There's no real threat being thrown out. But we're creating so much fear, and we're hyping up all this stuff to the point that it's no different from that. It would be no better if we actually had a threat because of what we're saying. I mean, we pride on the freedom of speech, but not the freedom of consequences, or really the reality of consequences, because the complete freedom of reality ends up dictating, no matter what you think, who you are, it dictates how big of a dick you are, or how you don't have a dick, or you're not a dick at all. That sounds smart, right? Okay, so we're gonna try in this part of the show some radio music, some possible songs that we can have for the next intro. I'm trying to make this a thing where it's not the same intro every day. It's a different intro every day, and I make a new intro, so I'm just thinking about some things, some sounds I could use. I really want you guys to know what you think. Call the hotline number 1-800-987-84621. So it's actually an 8-digit number. We're going to listen to some possible fucking cool things for the intro. What do you guys think of this? Could you guys hear this? Pretty cool, right? Yeah, that first one comes from Zurich Cloud Motors friend of mine, Steve Lessick, aka Pappy Stardust, aka Zurich Cloud Motors, aka Traveler, aka Cool Dude, aka Multi Instrumentalist, aka Artist. Yeah, that's his band. And actually, you guys couldn't really hear that because I'm going to cheat on this. I stopped the show and then had that run. And, a lot of stuff's going on. A lot of stuff's going on. I don't know why. I just have to do this show. It's the only thing that really matters to me right now because I'm not busy until later on today, and the time is now. So more about this political thing. I was a big fan of Vermin Supreme. I'm not sure if you guys really remember Vermin Supreme. Vermin Supreme was the guy that wore a boot on his head and looked like a wizard. And he was so cool, and he did everything to kind of remind people about what makes America great. You know? Like, Vermin Supreme's true logo was Make America Great Again. And Donald Trump stole it from him because the CIA actually wanted Vermin Supreme to win. So we're waiting for you, Vermin. Vermin, if you're listening to the show, get on the ballots. Get the people going again. You're going to want these people listening to you. I know that you inspired me when I was young, and you inspired not just me, but people to just be themselves and use their sense of humor and creativity and love of life and also confusion to reflect without even allowing the audience to know that, this is what the system really is. And you guys would sit down and listen to this as long as you're just going to be running for office. And it's something that anyone can do, but not everyone does it. That's really weird, right? Because you have to kind of, a bum, like a guy on the street, a bum could run for president, a bum could run for mayor. And I just wish that the city of Lake Worth realizes that the only good thing they can do is make sure that, we have a homeless mayor. Eventually in Lake Worth, we need to have a homeless mayor, because that's the only thing that really would matter, is if we had a mayor that understood how to help the poverty. You know what I mean? Because who would know how to help the homeless? What better politician to help the homeless than a politician who was homeless? And I want this homeless mayor in Lake Worth to, move in to City Hall and sleep there. Okay? And he's allowed to eat at any restaurant for free. He's allowed to shop at any clothing store he wants. And if he goes in at 4 a.m. to Burger King, all cracked out, you're not going to tell anybody. Don't tell the news, because maybe he'll get you a deal. Maybe you will never get a parking ticket again. He's the fucking mayor. And I thought about being the mayor of Lake Worth myself, because the other night at Burger King, something happened. And I thought that if I was mayor, I would really get out of a situation like this. So that's pretty much what leads me to talk about politics a lot, because it seems hopeless when people like Donald Trump, and for my Republican listeners, when people like Hillary Clinton or Justin Trudeau, and for my Democrat listeners, people like Rick Scott, people like, we all hate that damn Ralph Nader. Fucking Ralph Nader. How annoying is that? And how annoying are libertarians, though? And this is really funny. So think about politics. Let's talk about that for a minute. By the way, I'm supposed to say that whenever I'm changing subject, but this has happened let's see, it's been a 19-minute show, and it's been about 30 times I've changed the subject. So libertarians are really annoying. They kind of think that the other libertarians, they're just gonna all get together and lose another fucking election. Like they're just gonna all get together and unite, and they're not gonna do anything. You know, like they're just gonna be like there. They're gonna talk about chicks and like Bumble and stuff like that, and like their the job they work at, the tax thing, their tax this, tax that. It's all about like, don't take my damn taxes, boy. But they don't sound like that. They're more like, don't take my fucking taxes. Like libertarians are people you'd see at the gym, people that like both sides of the spectrum, because they're on this spectrum, and that's like kind of an autism. I feel like libertarianism is just an unrealistic autism, detachment from reality. That's one of the most rationalized options we have right now. I mean, shit, man. And you know, I looked up what political party Morgan Freeman was, so I felt that that would be a good kind of. But I realized that Morgan Freeman is a member of a party called the Black Panther Party. I don't know, that wasn't very funny. Um, you see, and that's that kind of what leads me to my point. Like, I'm not a comedian or anything like that, and I don't know how to talk about politics because I don't really want like an audience. I just feel like the only audience I really need is when I know when I'm proven wrong. So there's not really about. I don't understand how people can keep like voting and not want to follow up and hold themselves accountable when they get upset, because there was a law passed recently about the Greyhound buses. Florida removed all of them because they're tired of people trying to get out of here. They want more people getting in here. But no, seriously, there were Greyhounds on the the Greyhounds that they kind of torture and gamble with. A lot of those people treat their dogs very horribly. So this is what led to the law being passed that no, fuck that shit. It's done. We got rid of it. And they did. They got rid of the dog track. There's also a lot of dogs on the street now. And they don't, they don't all, hold on a second. There's people in the background. Um, I'm actually, in line at Arby's right now. I'll be right back. Go ahead and kill your neighbor. Go ahead and cheat a friend. Y'all ever hear that song? Yeah, so Arby's was all out of the chicken tenders. So, I guess my stomach fucking hurts right now. I think I'm just really hungry. I'm thinking about making like a tortilla or something like that. Making a tortilla. Making like something tortilla. Anything with a tortilla. Love that shit. I mean, if there was only like a good, because I'm in Boca Raton and there's not like any good empanada places, so I'm kind of fucked with all that. It's not. I realize a lot of people try to tell me hey, you're too good for this. Why do you keep doing that? Why? You just look at you. Look at you. You're looking good, kid. Everything you do is great. And then I look at them and I just kind of say, who do you think you're working with? Who do you think you're working with? A friend of mine gets mad when I always say, who do you think you're working with? Because, he used to say that, and, he doesn't have a talk show. I do. So now I'm trying to make that my thing. I'm one of those comedians that steal jokes, because I'm not a comedian, so you can't call me a comedian stealing jokes. I'm just a regular person stealing your jokes. You notice that. So I watch a lot of Curb Your Meme, the bum bum bum, which by the way is gonna be totally the next theme song for the show tomorrow. If I do a show tomorrow or the next show, expect it to be Curb, expect your enthusiasm, and expect it to be me and you here talking together. So I was watching some Curb Your Memes, and they like to do. I mean, this is another part of this alt-right thing. Like, I try to find something funny on the internet nowadays, and I laugh, and then I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, and then they're like, it's fucking with you. They're just trying to, instinctually point out what is wrong or what they think is wrong, the hypocrisy, and because we all like to shitpost, we all like to laugh. Who doesn't like to laugh? Because I was laughing last night at this Curb Your Meme thing, but it was really fucked up because it was totally like libertarian friendly or right wing friendly. A lot of stuff about Black Lives Matter were being attacked. A lot of things with Donald Trump were just kind of just suggested. there's one that was really funny because there's a video of a guy. No, oh shit, I don't want to spoil it already, but so you hear this, you hear Obama talking about Donald Trump making a joke, a tweet that he did, and it zooms out and it's a guy on his phone. And it zooms out more, and I guess it's fast forwards too, because the joke ends with Obama saying Trump's basically not going to be president. So it zooms out, and you just hear Trump, victory after victory after victory. You know, just like he's there at a Trump rally, like, or he's there either a rally or he's there realizing he's president, and the guy's like just too attached to his phone. And that I started dying last night when I saw that. Like that's pretty good though, you know, because I like that, you know, I can laugh at this kind of stuff. I don't need to take it seriously because I secretly know how insane they are. The same way I know that, like, there's some very insane, you know, democratic people, sex crazed liberal, you know, and there's a lot of freaky, you know, Republicans out there. There's a lot of very masochistic people, masochistic women that just love Donald Trump, and then there's a lot of kids, you know, who really come from nothing, but they see Trump as that great white hope. Literally, he's the whole great white hope thing, and you know he's a big white dope. He's a big fat dope. You know the guy, and I'm actually scared right now because every time I'm on the internet, I make a lot of jokes about it, and you know obviously I've done albums like Live at Mar-a-Lago. I did that song Mr. Trump, where I'm just basically saying fuck you to him, and you know like I get a little concerned sometimes because people are gonna take this seriously, and then you know pin me in a different light. And I met a guy, I think I was going to mention this earlier, at a bar, and he was talking about how he became a meme. And this is just his political views. And, you know, at first I was like, well, you know it's coming, you know, because he's saying certain things about certain, I guess that Hispanic woman running for president and stuff. You know, it's like, you know, he's making jokes about that. And then, you know, you automatically, you know, you become, because he's a Hispanic person himself, he's just a businessman. Like, I know this guy, his thing is money, you know, so a lot of those people already are either among that community are Republicans or are very good at speaking with them. And I saw there's a lot of jobs in South Florida, you know, one of Trump's big stepping grounds for, you know, just right-wing conservative friendly people. And you know I would be more willing to listen, first of all, because I mean I listen to my dad all the time. I think he's got some great views. I think that there's a benefit in conserving your money, to being conservative and knowing your investments and being smart about it and being practical. That's the side that I can talk to Republicans on, but I think it kind of ends there, because then it gets into things about how, well, this is the way it is, or like, you know, you'll hear something like, well, you're this color, you know, you're white, you're American, that is your advantage, and you can do this, or you come from there. You know what people say with that, with money, you can do this and get a job. These are kind of things, and then they you know, they keep telling me, and then I have to market myself as a professional when I'm around these people sometimes, talking about ideas I have creatively, because you need help. You can't always, I wouldn't care if I had somebody, you know, pay me to do a segment for a conservative thing. I would do it because I've already done that. I've already worked in radio and TV with conservative likes, and they just never touched that area, because there are some really practical people in the entertainment world who don't want to step on that line, but a lot of them, you know, they're kind of leaning on that end. I remember I was sitting for a show. I don't want to really say the name of the show, but I was working for this show, and it was when the cameras are off and the, you know, the live stream's done, and this is when Bill Cosby, you know, gets busted for being a goddamn perv, and the guy's shaking his head. He's saying, "What a damn shame. I knew a woman who he used to buy her a limo, her own limo." She said he was never like that. He's also buying a woman he doesn't really know, that's just going in for like an internship, or you know, some work or something like that, assistant work, and he's still buying her a limo. So like the evidence is right there, and that's what allows you to make that. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm going, and I was about to say, hell yeah, finally, that motherfucker, you know, like. But I mean, I'm not gonna really celebrating this kind of. I don't like using this word, but it's a lynching. You know, celebrating this kind of witch hunting and hatred. It really gets us nowhere. Just to a more upsetting place. You know, it really gets us nowhere. But that was upsetting to me, because I just felt that, you know, I'm not able to express my opinion because it's a job there, and it's pretty much in the obvious, and somebody's famous, and I find myself with these people who, you know, are just very, and they're older, of course, so they're of a different tradition, and their way of thinking is very dated. And what are you gonna do about it? You know, what are you gonna do? Like, it's fuck that, you know, like don't let that Don't let that bring you down, like Neil Young says. Politics are constantly uh, pissing people off, but I know that's kind of what this whole show's been about. Let me just make sure. Let me see. Age of Rage. Let's see what that types in, because I wish this was the name of the show, but I don't think I can make it. The Age of. Oh no. Yep. That. God damn it, Netflix. This show has been brought to you by Netflix and the alt-right documentary Alt-Right Age of Rage. And not alt-right documentary, but it's about that. Yeah, you guys should check this out because it's a really good movie. It's it's pretty, like, there are some parts that both sides will be upset in this film, but they both both they're both sides of reality. They're both ends of the stick, and it's worth checking out because this was an educational thing to see. Educational. We'll be right back. I'm at the line at Wendy's. Oh God. Oh, looks like we're getting a call. We are getting a call from the legendary Jacob Leavitt. This is going to be very exciting. Hang on momentarily, ladies and gentlemen. Jacob Leavitt.
Call at 4 in the morning. It's like, I found your number. I know a lot about you. And she's like, why are you doing this? He's like, let's just say I have high hopes that we can work things out.
You like Pink Floyd? You know what my favorite album is? The Wall.
That's his pickup line. Coming back to Stormy's place.
Oh, dude, there's a lot, man. I was thinking, like, he's gotta be, he does his research, man. He's like...
Let's just say, I don't know how to read, but when it comes to ass and titties, I do my research.
That's what he's doing. That's when he's doing the finals for the Miss America pageant. He's just like getting all of them together, and he's just like, this one's pretty good. And it's like, Donald, that's my daughter. Be like,
oh, she's not in the competition?
So what? How much?
So what? Now she is. You want a raise? She is now.
Fair game. That's what he's.
Yeah, fair game.
Yeah, that's what he first says. That's what he actually says the moment after. He's like, no, that's my daughter, Donald. That's.
She's 17.
We're not. She's
like, oh, I got a daughter her age. Perfect.
Hey, I make the laws.
Who makes the laws here?
I just had a very intense sexual experience. Can we get some freaking McDonald's?
I need a bucket of fried chicken with a few different variations, maybe something that sticks out, kind of like me.
Extra bold, extra spicy.
Donald, we know that there are several different options you have with that. You use that term with several different areas.
Extra bold, extra spicy. I'm not into the Mexicans.
Oh, don't you ever try that thing? Now that's what I'm talking about.
It ends. That got a little too John Frusciante in the end. It's like, this is what the song I play when Donald Trump has like my whole family held hostage in some island, and like with Russian bodyguards, and like he's like,
play me a song.
And then like all of a sudden he just gets like Regis Philbin and Mike Pence to bring out a guitar, and he's saying, and it's like the Tenacious D thing. It's like,
play me a melody.
Oh, can you imagine Donald Trump bumped into Bukowski in like '84 at some bar?
Yeah, and and he tries to, and like at first well, obviously Donald Trump like doesn't like him at first because he smells, and then Bukowski says something about his hair, and then Donald Trump's like, I've never met a man who could say honesty the way I see it. He just it's like a romantic thing.
True American.
The last true.
I know, and he's saying, and you know what? And they talk for one whole night, and Donald Trump's saying, you know what, man, you should be president. I would vote for you as long as there's a hooker on every corner. And he's saying, and plenty of homeless blacks. And Donald Trump would be like,
I won't let you down, Hank.
I'm on it.
like fast forward, and that's what happened. That's the art of the deal.
As a platform to reinforce my presidential campaign.
Yeah, that's the perfect thing about it, dude. They're just like, imagine like just walking into a room, and like Donald Trump's just there,
George a little brown.
and he says,
So I heard you were looking for a new job, huh?
and it's like
Yeah,
it's George
he's a
Zimmerman,
college
as
grad.
it's George Zimmerman.
George Zimmerman. I want you to be head of security. I heard you're a real good shot. And George Zimmerman's like, I'd be honored.
Yeah, that's exactly how he sounds too. That's like, I'd be honored. He'd feel like
Yes, sir. And pay me one of your paintings, why don't you?
Holy shit.
You can kill as many people as you want, as long as they're minorities.
Minorities. Oh, that dude. That's, man, this is the minorities.
This is my band, The Minorities.
The minorities.
But that would actually be a good band name.
Every human's a minority, bro. There's like one planet of humans, an infinite planets of other beings.
Earth is a minority.
Other beings.
Earth is
As
a,
Donald Trump, he gets a little metaphysical.
Saying, you know, what's with that NASA thing, that Mars rover? Get it out of here. It's a waste of my time. It's just a bunch of darts and rocks. I've seen this movie.
That's what he did when the nasty's like,
I've seen this movie. I know how it ends. It's just a bunch of dirt and rocks. Take it out. Get rid of it.
Where's Schwarzenegger?
yeah. Instead, he thinks the real way to find the aliens is if he has Arnold Schwarzenegger and like Van Damme and Sylvester Stallone, like all the Avengers go into space.
And Val Kilmer.
Yeah, and Val Kilmer, he's driving the rocket.
Stallone. Wait, nah, I don't trust the Italian.
Yeah, he has Stallone like stay behind.
Stallone crossed out is like written on the list and then crossed out. And then just side note, Italian.
Yeah, but this whole thing is just like an extension because like they dated the same chick and Donald Trump knows about it.
Oh, who? Anna Nicole Smith.
Yeah. What I think that's one of their that would be one of their picks. You know, she like one week she has Donald Trump, the next week she has like
John alone
Tom
got
Cruise.
sloppy seconds.
I feel like that's true. I think that's why he ran for president. I think he wanted to
I
be.
think he likes that too. He's like, I like things already warmed up.
It's such an honor to have had sex with the same woman, to have bed John Gotti, Al Capone, Frank Sinatra, but not that damn John F. Kennedy.
She's like, hey baby.
In office, you.
What do you think, I'm in office or something? Oh, that's right.
Dude, that's brutal, man. John F. Kennedy's rolling over, and John F. Kennedy, he's just like, dude, he's like in paradise.
Yeah, he's probably laughing right. Yeah, he's probably laughing right now. He's probably laughing right now, and he's probably laughing and like,
Fuck that.
yeah.
Fuck that. I'm not one for vulgarities, but fuck that. That's what he said. Hey, would you like to make a peace treaty with Mexico?
Time to make a peace treaty with Mexico. Time to make a peace treaty. The friends not foes. Donnie, he don't care. He just sits in his chair. Time to make a peace treaty with the friends in Mexico. don't care. There's a wall, and in that wall there's nothing there except himself, no one else. That's that was Donovan's unreleased song for today. Donovan.
What do you think Donovan's doing right now?
Dude, he's probably like at a massage parlor with like 6 Asian, you know, like I don't know. He's probably in good. Yeah. No, that's because, dude, imagine like John Entwistle, like he died with like a line of cocaine and a hooker in his, like, you know, belongings. That was his last possessions, and the bass and like a bass guitar.
The Who was coming back. The Two.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, exactly. He was like on the phone with Pete Townsend, and like he's like, hello, hello. Like Pete Townsend's like, hello, hello, and John Entwistle just does like another thing, cocaine. He's just like, he just falls on his face.
Oh, he hears John Whistle, like, he's all jacked up, he's like ranting, raving, and then he just hears a loud thump.
And it's like, that's the thump of the ox. He's just like, he thinks it's like typical, because that just means like he's, you know, that's how he ends his night. You just like, it's just an ox, like the sound of an ox like slamming against like.
Put it out!
Yeah.
That was his final album, Put It Out.
Oh shit, I know, that was a great dude, but
that's what killed John Entwistle.
Yeah.
Because John Entwistle was like, hey, I got some grass, and I got some grass. We're gonna smoke it before the show. And Pete's like, no, put it out, put it. And John's like, what's come over it? And then there's a thump.
It's like, what's come over him? It's like, it's just the typical thing.
He's like, I'm old.
I'm old.
Weary.
Imagine John Lennon if he had survived. That's what he'd be saying. I'm old. He'd be like, John, why don't you want to do the Beatles reunion? I'm old. I'm weary.
That's what he was saying in '78. He's like, piss off. I'm old.
I'm old. Yeah, John Lennon would be one of those people talking about his age at a young age. You know, like talking about how his age is kicking in at a young age.
He was saying that when he was 34. He's like, piss off. I'm old.
That's kind of what he was saying in the album Help. He was like he felt
Dude,
he felt old.
he didn't age at all, to tell you the truth, man. Like, if you look at him, I'm like,
yeah, for somebody that never took care of himself
he just
and
got
did drugs.
sharper, bro.
Yeah, he looked more well, that's probably Yoko to thanks. You're not John, no.
Yoko?
I love Yoko. Yoko's like she's like a sweet angel from heaven, you know, just like that, you know,
Dude,
broke up the Beatles.
Yoko, really, I think she gets a lot of crap, that she's an easy target, but
I know,
don't think
she is an
John
easy
Lennon
target.
was a fool.
Yeah,
John
I
is
think
not
John
a fool,
Lennon.
dude.
Yeah, that was John Lennon's decision to end the Beatles. It wasn't Yoko Ono's, but he wanted to. It's like big deal. It's like, okay, like, I mean, people act like what really stopped the Beatles was it.
Yoko
you know?
Ono was 14 years old, and he couldn't let that.
That sounds like what that sounds like a disclosed interview with George Martin or something.
Yeah, everything. That was the real reason they broke up. Yoko Ono was 14.
Yeah. Or Phil Spector. I feel like Phil Spector would say that. He'd be like, Yoko Ono was just 14. That's an industry secret.
We told him she was 20. We told the public.
The public got a fake backstory and everything. The agency was brilliant.
She had no documents. She was an undocumented rice worker from, like,
undocumented rice worker.
Just another you know, Kim Jong-un, to me, you're just another undocumented rice worker.
No, but I'm saying John Lennon was just like drunk and wasted, and he got a little touchy-feely, and that's off the records, and they're not allowed to talk about that. They're not allowed to talk about that.
Let's talk about that for a minute.
And then Chuck Berry knew the whole time. Chuck Berry's like, look, man, you gotta stay at my house.
That's like the conspiracy theory. It's like, Chuck Berry, he fucking knew, man.
He fucking knew, man. Yeah, the guy on acid, like, yelling at Walmart.
Yeah.
That's Walmart. That's today.
Yeah, I know. That's like Walmart today.
No, the hippie wearing a Walmart vest. That's
Yeah, he just quit his
He's,
job, and like his next job is with the picket sign, telling people about the end coming, and like the Illuminati.
Dude, I see that shit every day when I drive home from
I know.
work.
That's your town.
At night, there's
Represent.
like right on military